Let us discuss how this book can work miracles in your life. This chapter attempts to understand how this book can bring about significant changes in life by working on the thought level, and how the human subconscious mind gradually shapes one's circumstances, decisions, and outcomes. This chapter actually begins with why every human being's life is not the same in this world. Some people appear happy and satisfied, while others remain troubled and unhappy all the time. Some people cannot move forward despite working hard, while others rise from ordinary circumstances to achieve great success. The question here is not about external circumstances, but about the thoughts and beliefs running inside. The book tries to convey that the habitual thinking of humans, which keeps running in the mind repeatedly, gradually creates the pattern of their lives. One of the main ideas of this chapter is that the subconscious mind is nothing short of magic. It is called magic not because it suddenly changes everything, but because it works quietly, without noise, every day. The subconscious mind starts preparing circumstances according to what a person thinks, feels, and accepts as true. Many times, a person does not understand that the situation they are in is the result of their own inner thinking. The chapter also makes it clear that the subconscious mind does not reason. It does not ask whether a thought is right or wrong. Whatever goes into the mind repeatedly and is accepted as truth becomes an order for it. This is why many people unknowingly stop their own progress. For example, if a person continuously believes that they cannot succeed, the subconscious mind keeps creating decisions, opportunities, and reactions according to that thought. Here, a common misunderstanding is also clarified. Many people think this is all just imagination, or that nothing changes by merely thinking. But the chapter explains that it's not just about thinking, but about thinking that has become a habit. Thoughts that are repeated daily in regular life get deeply embedded in the subconscious mind. Then those thoughts become behaviors, and behaviors produce outcomes. This chapter also tells us that people often look for change in the outside world. They blame circumstances, people, fate, or time. But real change starts from within. If the inner thinking remains the same, then no matter how much effort is made externally, the results don't change much. Efforts made without understanding the subconscious mind remain incomplete. Another important point that emerges in this chapter is that the subconscious mind is not tied to any particular religion, sect, or belief. It works like a natural law. Just as fire burns everywhere and water flows everywhere, the subconscious mind reacts in the same way in every human being. The only difference is what is being fed into it. The chapter also explains that a person's prayers or desires only show effect when they are accepted from within. If something is being said superficially but not believed internally, the subconscious mind does not accept it. This is why many people say they tried hard but nothing changed. Actually, the effort was external, while the internal belief remained the same. It is also important to understand that the subconscious mind does not give immediate results. Many times, people give up too early. They think if change doesn't appear in a few days, the method is wrong. But the chapter suggests that the subconscious mind works like a seed. After sowing a seed, it needs time, patience, and the right environment. Similarly, after changing thinking, it takes time for it to fully appear in life. Another important point in this chapter is that humans can use their subconscious mind deliberately. Most people use it unknowingly, and that's why wrong patterns form. But when a person starts understanding that their thinking is determining their direction, they begin choosing their thoughts with more responsibility. It is also clarified that the subconscious mind does not differentiate between fear and trust. It gives equal power to both. If fear is repeatedly emphasized, that takes over. And if thoughts of trust, peace, and stability are given space, that starts moving forward. So the question is not where the power will come from, but to which thought the power is being given. In real life, this means something very straightforward. In work, relationships, health, or money, everywhere a person's inner perspective plays a very big role. If a person always considers themselves inferior, they step back even when opportunities come. Whereas if a person considers themselves ready to learn and grow, those very opportunities open the way for them. A common misunderstanding is that by thinking all this, a person starts living in a world of dreams. But the chapter's focus is not on dreaming, but on directing thinking in practical ways. This book does not say that everything will come without hard work. Rather, it explains that the direction and impact of hard work are determined by thinking. This chapter also hints that a person's subconscious mind also affects their body. If stress, fear, and negative thinking continue for a long time, their effect starts showing on health, whereas peaceful and trusting thinking takes the body towards balance. This is not a magical claim, but something connected to everyday experience. Finally, this chapter ends with a quiet but deep understanding. It reminds us that there is a power inside humans they often overlook. The subconscious mind is neither an enemy nor a mysterious thing. It just works the way it is taught. When a person understands the responsibility of what they are thinking and believing inside, then gradually their life also starts molding accordingly. This is the core message of this chapter, that change begins not outside, but from within. Chapter 2. Now let us discuss Chapter 2, named How Your Own Mind Works. This chapter attempts to understand how a person's own mind works, where thoughts come from, how habits are formed, and how the inner mind shapes the decisions and circumstances of our lives. This chapter's focus is to explain that the human mind is one, but it has two different levels. One level is that which thinks, reasons, makes decisions, and remains active in everyday matters. The second level is that which works continuously without stopping, manages emotions, stores memories, and runs all natural processes happening inside the body. This second level actually becomes the root of our habits, reactions, and life patterns. When a person thinks about something, that thought first comes to the upper level. This is where it is decided whether to accept something or not. But thoughts that are repeated repeatedly gradually descend into the inner mind. The inner mind does not reason, does not debate, and does not check right or wrong. It simply accepts whatever is given to it repeatedly. This is why habits become so strong, and changing them seems difficult. This chapter makes it clear that the inner mind is creative. This means that it not only stores thoughts, but starts creating experiences and circumstances according to those thoughts. If a person's thought remains mostly negative, filled with fear, anxiety, or doubt, then the inner mind prepares reactions accordingly. Whereas if thoughts remain calm, balanced, and positive, the inner mind also works in that direction. A common misconception is that people think that just understanding will change everything. But this chapter explains that understanding alone is not enough. Whatever the inner mind once accepts as true, it starts working in its own way. This is why sometimes a person knows that a fear is useless, yet the fear does not disappear. The reason is that the fear has already seated itself in the inner mind. It is also explained that the inner mind is very obedient. Whatever orders the upper mind gives, the inner mind accepts them. If a person repeatedly tells themselves that I can't do it, it's difficult for me, or I am weak, the inner mind accepts these things as true and creates paths accordingly. This process is slow, but the effect is deep. This chapter also tells that the inner mind works day and night. Even during sleep, it keeps running the body. Breathing, heartbeat, digestion all continue automatically because the inner mind is managing them. This is why the effect of emotional thinking directly falls on the body. Staying in worry or fear for a long time starts showing effects on the body. Another important point mentioned is that the inner mind is influenced very quickly by suggestions, whether they come from oneself or from outside. Things heard in childhood, repeatedly said sentences, and the surrounding environment gradually take space in the inner mind. Later, those things start appearing in the person's behavior and decisions. Here, the misunderstanding that every external suggestion will have an effect is also cleared. Actually, effect only comes when the upper mind accepts that suggestion. If something is not accepted from within, it does not reach the inner mind. Therefore, choosing thoughts becomes very important. A big message of this chapter is that a person can become the owner of their mind, but for this they need to understand how their mind works. Without understanding, change is difficult. When a person learns how repeated thoughts become habits and how habits create circumstances, then they can gradually steer their thinking in the right direction. In real life, this means that a person should pay attention to their daily thoughts. There is a need to see what kinds of things are running through the mind throughout the day. Are they filled with fear and doubt or with peace and trust? Because those things are gradually descending into the inner mind. This chapter also teaches that change does not happen in a single day. The inner mind runs on old patterns, so new thinking needs time. Just as forming a new habit takes time, new thinking also needs time. Patience and consistency become very important here. Finally, this chapter gives a quiet understanding that however tangled a person's life may appear from outside, its root is in inner thinking. When the inner mind is clear and balanced, the external life also gradually starts molding according to it. Understanding one's mind is actually the first step to understanding one's life. Chapter 3. Now let us discuss Chapter 3, named The Miracle Working Power of Your Subconscious Mind. This chapter attempts to understand how powerful the subconscious mind actually is, how it works on both the body and mind, and how this power remains active in daily life, whether a person understands it or not. This chapter starts by saying that the subconscious mind is not something separate or mysterious, but it is the same power that runs the heartbeat, manages blood circulation, digests, and controls every small and big process of the body. When a person is sleeping, this mind remains fully active. Breathing continues, the heart works in the correct rhythm, and the body keeps repairing itself. All this happens without any thought or deliberation, because there is no need to give orders to the subconscious mind. It works according to its nature. A very important thing explained here is that the subconscious mind not only manages the body, but also stores memories, habits, emotions, and deep inner beliefs. Whatever a person thinks and feels throughout the day, those things gradually get stored in the subconscious mind. Then those things appear outside as circumstances, experiences, and decisions. The chapter also tells that the subconscious mind never reasons. It does not check whether any thought is right or wrong. Whatever is given repeatedly and with emotion, it accepts it as true. This is why many times people unknowingly work against themselves. Keeping thoughts of fear, anxiety, or weakness repeatedly sets the same pattern internally, and then it starts appearing in life. It is explained that the subconscious mind is very sensitive in the time before sleep. At that time, whatever thoughts are running in the mind go deep inside. Therefore, if a person wants a solution to a problem, leaving that question within with a calm mind is more effective. Many times, solutions come directly in dreams or as clear thoughts the next morning. This happens because the subconscious mind constantly keeps searching for solutions. The chapter also tells that the source of creativity and inspiration is this deep mind. Great artists, writers, musicians, or scientists often experience that the best ideas come suddenly. Actually, they are not sudden, but have been processing in the subconscious mind and appear at the right time. Another important thing is that the subconscious mind has a natural tendency to heal the body. When a cut occurs in the body, it starts healing on its own, fights infection, and tries to bring back balance. But when the mind keeps being filled with fear, anger, or stress, those things become obstacles in this natural process. Therefore, a deep connection between mental state and physical condition is explained. This chapter also clarifies that the subconscious mind does not work like magic. It is not dependent on any external miracle. It works completely on rules. Whatever input is given, the same output is received. If thinking is clear, calm, and positive, results start coming in that direction. If thinking is tangled and negative, results are created in the same way. Many people misunderstand that just saying some words will change everything. Here, the illusion is cleared that words only have effect when there is emotion and belief behind them. Things repeated without emotion do not reach deep into the subconscious mind. Therefore, inner emotion and belief play the most important role. In real life, this means that a person must first understand what they are accepting within. The deep beliefs that have formed about themselves, their capabilities, and about life is what determines the real direction. Before changing external circumstances, changing inner thinking is necessary. By the end of the chapter, it becomes clear that the subconscious mind is not a distant thing. It is working every moment. It is managing life, giving direction, and reacting. The more a person understands it and coordinates with it correctly, the more life becomes balanced and smooth. This entire chapter comes to rest on the understanding that real power is not outside, but exists within. The subconscious mind is the very foundation on which thoughts, habits, health, and experiences stand. By understanding it and giving it the right direction, life can gradually be made better and more stable.
Now let us discuss Chapter 4, named Mental Healings in Ancient Times. In this, we will learn how people in ancient times understood the power of mind and brain and how healing happened at the mental level without today's modern medical science. This chapter attempts to explain that the relationship between mind and body is not new, but this knowledge is very old. This chapter actually focuses on the fact that in ancient civilizations, illness was not considered just a problem of the body. At that time, it was understood that the root of illness is somewhere in the mind. People believed that if thinking, belief, and inner emotion become right, the body starts healing on its own. We get a glimpse of what we now call mental healing or psychological healing even thousands of years ago. In old times, doctors, priests, saints, or healers could be the same person. They used words, beliefs, and suggestions along with medicines. In that era, it was believed that the human mind deeply affects the body. If a person was made to believe that they are getting better, their body starts working in that direction. This chapter makes it clear that people in ancient times did not use the word subconscious mind, but they understood its power. They knew that things said repeatedly, mantras, prayers, or beliefs get deeply seated in the mind. When a thought goes deep into the mind, that same thought starts bringing changes in the body. In many old examples, we see that people controlled pain through words and beliefs alone. Things like surgery was sometimes done without any medicines. The patient was made to believe that they would not feel pain, and they truly did not feel it. All this was possible because their mind had fully accepted that suggestion. A very important thing explained here is that the real work of healing is done by the mind. External treatment only works when it is accepted from within. People in old times believed that the body has the ability to heal itself. If the mind does not put obstacles in that process, healing starts on its own. This chapter also tells that fear, superstition, and wrong beliefs increased illness. When a person was repeatedly told that their illness cannot be cured, their mind accepted that thing as true. Gradually, the body also started responding accordingly. In this way, illness becomes not just physical but mental. A common misconception is that healing in old times was just magic or miracle. But this chapter clarifies that all this was based on the mind's rules. People did not know what science would call it, but they knew from experience that belief and emotion affect the body. It is also explained that in today's world, we often ignore these old principles. We only trust medicines and machines but give less importance to the mental state. Whereas the truth is that if the mind is filled with fear, stress, and negative thinking, even the best medicines work slowly. In real life, this means that a person should pay attention to their thinking and inner dialogue. If a person keeps telling themselves that they are weak or sick, their mind keeps working in that direction. On the contrary, if thinking is calm, trusting, and positive, the body gets help in healing. The purpose of this chapter is not to deny medical treatment. Rather, it is to show that mind and body both work together. People in old times understood this well. They knew that if the mind is filled with peace and trust, the body gives better responses on its own. Finally, this chapter ends with a quiet thought that mental healing is not a new discovery. It has been a very old part of human life. The only difference is that today we know it by new names. If a person understands the power of their mind and uses it in the right direction, the healing process can become easier and more natural. Chapter 5. Now let us discuss Chapter 5, Mental Healings in Modern Times. This chapter attempts to understand how mental healing works in today's modern times, how people come out of illness, fear, and trouble using the power of their mind, and how this entire process appears in real life. This chapter primarily focuses on the fact that mental healing is not an old or mysterious thing, but it is just as effective in today's times. The only difference is that now people understand it from a new perspective. In modern times, doctors, psychologists, and researchers acknowledge that the human mind and body are not separate. Whatever constantly runs in the mind gradually starts showing effect in the body as well. It is made clear here that many illnesses are not just of the body, but their root is hidden in mental patterns, such as constant fear, anxiety, guilt, anger, or disappointment. When a person lives in such negative thoughts for a long time, the body cannot bear that pressure and illness appears in some form or the other. Modern mental healing is based on understanding this very connection. The chapter also explains that in today's times, people do not limit mental healing to just prayer or belief. Now, science has also been added to it. Doctors see that when a patient gives up hope and starts considering themselves weak, the effect of treatment also decreases. Whereas if the same patient accepts in their mind that the body has the ability to heal, then along with medicines, the mind also starts helping in healing. An important concept comes here: suggestion. In modern times, suggestion is taken very seriously. Whatever is repeatedly fed into the mind, the subconscious mind accepts it as true. If a person is repeatedly told that their illness is incurable, their mind also works in that direction. On the contrary, if they are repeatedly made to feel that improvement is possible, the body's response is different. This chapter also tells that sometimes doctors unknowingly give negative suggestions. The choice of words matters a lot here. When any authority figure says something, the mind accepts it without question. Modern mental healing emphasizes that a person should take responsibility for their own mind, rather than accepting everything as true without understanding. Another important idea is that the subconscious mind does not see time. It does not understand whether the thought is old or new. Whatever is repeated with emotion gets deeply seated. In modern life, people say the most negative things to themselves. Those things gradually become their identity. This chapter makes it clear that changing the way one talks to oneself is the beginning of mental healing. In real life, this means that a person starts paying a little attention to their words, thoughts, and emotions. It is better to give the mind a neutral and safe direction than always consider oneself weak, sick, or unlucky. This is not about forcibly becoming positive, but about understanding which thoughts cause harm. Another aspect of mental healing in modern times is that people no longer put responsibility outside. Earlier, illness was left on fate, God, or circumstances. Now the understanding is increasing that the human mind is also part of this whole story. Until the mind cooperates from within, complete healing becomes difficult. At the end of the chapter, the feeling comes that mental healing is not a separate activity to be done. It is hidden in daily thinking, feeling, and reactions. As a person starts understanding the patterns running within them, their body and life also gradually start coming into balance. This chapter ends with a quiet thought that mental healing is not a new discovery. It has been a very old part of human life. The only difference is that today we know it by new names. If a person understands the power of their mind and uses it in the right direction, the healing process can become easier and more natural.
Now let us discuss Chapter 6, Practical Techniques in Mental Healings. This chapter attempts to understand that mental healing is not just theory, but how it can be used in daily life through some easy and practical techniques. The focus here is on how the subconscious mind works and through what methods it can be guided in the right direction. This chapter first makes it clear that mental healing is not magic or something that happens suddenly. It is a natural process that works just like other laws of nature. Just as water always flows towards its level, the subconscious mind works in the direction it is repeatedly pointed to. Therefore, it is told that there is not just one method for healing. Different techniques can work for different people. One main idea of this chapter is that the subconscious mind responds not from logic, but from belief and emotion. When a thought keeps running only in the mind but is not accepted from within, its effect is less. But when that same thought settles inside with peace and trust, the subconscious mind starts accepting it as true and working accordingly. Therefore, it is necessary in mental healing that there is no force in thinking. As a practical technique, it is told here that relaxing the mind is very important. When the mind is in too much tension or fear, the correct message does not reach the subconscious mind. Therefore, first the body and mind are calmed a bit. Sitting comfortably, normalizing breathing, and letting the mind slow down for a while are all part of the process. Another important thing explained in this chapter is repetition. The subconscious mind does not understand any idea at once. Just as time takes to form a habit, new healthy thoughts also need to be repeated. Here, repetition does not mean rote learning, but feeling the same positive thing again and again with a calm mind. This chapter also makes it clear that negative self-talk is the biggest obstacle in mental healing. Repeatedly saying things like, "This cannot be fixed," or "This illness will never go," such sentences become commands for the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind does not debate, it only follows orders. Therefore, it is told that caution is necessary in both words and thinking. A common misconception is that mental healing means only saying positive things, but this chapter explains that just speaking words is not enough. Until the feeling of truly accepting that thing comes from within, it has no effect. Therefore, a technique is taught here on how to gradually remove old fears and doubts and build new beliefs. It is also told that the subconscious mind works day and night. It becomes even more active during sleep. Therefore, thoughts before sleep are very important. If there is fear, anxiety, or restlessness in the mind before sleep, those things go deep inside. This is why this chapter advises that before sleep, the mind should be kept as calm and balanced as possible. In real life, the meaning of these techniques is that changes are made in small habits, such as changing the way one talks to oneself, focusing on solutions instead of fear when thinking about a problem, and building within oneself the trust that the body and mind know how to balance themselves. All this happens gradually. There is no hurry. This chapter also clarifies that mental healing is not opposed to medical treatment. Rather, it works like a support system. When the mind is calm and in trust, the body also responds better. Therefore, it is said to look at these techniques in connection with the natural flow of life. Finally, this chapter ends with a quiet understanding that the subconscious mind is not an external thing, but a part that works with us every day. When it is given the right direction, it takes towards balance, peace, and healing. Mental healing is not a one-day job, but a gradual process that strengthens with understanding, patience, and consistent practice. Chapter 7. Now let us discuss Chapter 7, named The Tendency of the Subconscious Mind is Lifeward. This chapter attempts to understand what the nature of the subconscious mind is like, in which direction it works, and how it supports human life. It is told here that the tendency of the subconscious mind is always towards protecting, managing, and advancing life, not towards harm. This entire chapter focuses on the fact that the basic nature of the subconscious mind is in favor of life. This means that this internal system always keeps trying to keep humans alive, healthy, and balanced. When a person is sleeping, the heart keeps beating, breathing continues, food gets digested, and the body keeps repairing itself. All this happens without any conscious effort. This is proof that the subconscious mind supports life on its own. It is also explained in this chapter that if the subconscious mind had a life-opposing nature, humans would be in danger all the time, but this is not the case. If a cut occurs inside the body, it starts healing on its own. If there is any infection, the body starts fighting it. All this happens because the tendency of the subconscious mind is always towards healing and protection. A necessary point is also mentioned here that the subconscious mind always does what it is given to it. Its nature is lifeward, but it follows human thoughts. If fear, anxiety, and negative thinking are given repeatedly, those same things start appearing in the body and life. This does not mean that the subconscious mind wants to cause harm, rather it is just working on the messages given. An important idea of this chapter is that negative thoughts and fears often become the cause of illness and problems. When a person continuously thinks that something will go wrong, I am not fine, or my condition is bad, the subconscious mind accepts those thoughts as true, and then those thoughts gradually start expressing themselves in the body and circumstances. Therefore, it is necessary in mental healing that there is no force in thinking. Here, a common misconception is also cleared. Many people believe that illness or problems are a punishment from God or happen because of fate. But according to this chapter, in most cases, these are the result of inner thinking and feeling. The subconscious mind never punishes, it only expresses what has been put inside. Another misconception is that the subconscious mind will fix everything on its own, no matter how a person thinks. This is not correct. The subconscious mind is indeed lifeward, but if it keeps getting wrong and fearful messages, it starts working in that direction. Therefore, the responsibility of the conscious mind becomes very important. It is also explained in this chapter that when a person maintains within themselves feelings of peace, trust, and health, the subconscious mind starts adjusting the body and life accordingly. Healing becomes easier when the internal environment is calm and positive. In real life, this means that when a person is sick, medicine alone is not enough. If there is constant fear and anxiety within, healing can be slow. But if the same person accepts from within that the body is trying to heal and the internal system is with them, recovery becomes much smoother. This chapter also tells that the subconscious mind always wants balance. If a person takes too much tension, imbalance occurs in the body. Then those same things start coming out in different ways, such as fatigue, sleep problems, or stress-related issues. It is also made clear that the subconscious mind cannot be frightened or forcibly controlled. It can only be given the right direction. When a person gives calm, repeated, correct, and simple thoughts, the subconscious mind accepts them. A practical meaning of this chapter is that a person should pay attention to their daily thinking. Small things like fear, anger, or negative thoughts accumulate and later become big problems.
If thoughts are kept soft and balanced in time, the subconscious mind supports life in a better way. Finally, this chapter ends with a quiet understanding that the subconscious mind is not an external thing, but a part that works with us every day. When it is given the right direction, it takes towards balance, peace, and healing. Mental healing is not a one-day job, but a gradual process that strengthens with understanding, patience, and consistent practice.
Now let us discuss Chapter 8, How to Get the Results You Want. This chapter attempts to understand why people do not get what they want, and when they do get it, how they get it. The focus is not on any magic or shortcut, but on how the mind works and what role the subconscious mind plays in creating results. This chapter first makes it clear that results do not come on their own. Whatever outcome appears outside, behind it there is first a thought, a belief, and an inner acceptance. Many people just wish, but their thinking and emotion do not match that wish. From outside they say one thing, but from within they believe something else. The subconscious mind works not from words, but from inner belief. It is explained here that the subconscious mind does not debate about anything. It does not see whether the thought is right or wrong. Whatever the conscious mind repeatedly accepts becomes true for the subconscious mind. If it is repeatedly thought that this is difficult for me or this cannot happen to me, the subconscious mind starts creating circumstances according to that thought. One main idea of this chapter is that results are always the external form of the inner state. If inside there is trust, clarity, and peace, then outside also gradually the same appears. And if inside there is fear, doubt, and confusion, then external circumstances also take the same direction. It is not said here that everything will change instantly, but how the direction changes. Another necessary thing explained here is that negative statements act like orders for the subconscious mind. Repeatedly saying, "I cannot do this" or "I do not have this," the subconscious mind starts working to maintain that deficiency. It does not take anything as a joke. It catches the emotion behind the words and works on it. It is also told in this chapter that to get the right result, there is no need to forcefully change thinking, but to gradually steer it in the right direction. When the conscious mind is calm and accepts something naturally, that thing reaches the subconscious mind. Forcing thinking or repeating intention can also have the opposite effect. Here, a common misconception is also cleared. Many people think that just saying positive sentences will change everything. But if there is no trust in that thing from within, just words do not affect. The subconscious mind reacts to emotion and belief, not to empty words. Therefore, it is necessary that whatever is thought starts settling from within. In real life, this means that when a person is working towards some goal, they should pay attention to the dialogue running within them. If constant doubt and fear are running inside, then even after working hard from outside, results remain weak. But if inside the feeling starts building that the path is open and solution is possible, the mind starts making better decisions on its own. The chapter also gives a hint that the subconscious mind is working all the time. Whether a person is awake or sleeping, their inner beliefs keep having effect. Therefore, it is not necessary to do something special all the time, but it is necessary to understand the habit of thinking and gradually improve it. Finally, this chapter ends with a quiet understanding that results are not something that come from outside. They are an expansion of the inner state. When a person understands that their thinking, emotion, and belief are the real foundation, then they can understand their experiences in a clearer way. Change does not come from any pressure, but from inner clarity, and that clarity creates the direction for the right results. Chapter 9. Now let us discuss Chapter 9, How to Use the Power of Your Subconscious for Wealth. This chapter attempts to understand how the subconscious mind works regarding money, wealth, and prosperity, and why sometimes even after hard work, a person does not get the kind of result they want. The focus here is on the fact that wealth is not just a game of the external world, but is a direct result of thinking and beliefs running inside. This chapter starts with the idea that wealth is not an accident. It does not suddenly drip from fate, but is built gradually from deep inner thinking. The subconscious mind accepts whatever repeatedly feels true to it. If it has been accepted from within that money comes hard, money is dirty, or rich people are wrong, the subconscious starts working in that direction. No matter how many opportunities are outside, the inner thinking does not let them be grasped. It is also made clear that the subconscious mind does not run on logic. It does not see which thinking is right or wrong. Whatever is repeated with feeling again and again becomes truth for it. Therefore, if a person works hard all day but internally thinks that money never stays or wealth is not for me, the subconscious creates circumstances according to that thought. This chapter does not limit wealth to just money. Here, wealth means sufficiency, security, and the feeling that needs can be met comfortably. When the subconscious mind accepts the idea that there is enough in life and more will come, then the person's decisions, habits, and opportunities start changing on their own. An important point is told that many people want richness from outside but keep poverty thinking from inside. From outside they say they need money, but inside there is fear that if more money comes, they won't be able to handle it, people will get jealous, or something will go wrong. This internal fear stays seated in the subconscious mind and becomes the obstacle in the path of wealth. It is also explained in this chapter that money in itself is neither good nor bad, it is just a tool. But if it has been taught from childhood that money is the root of evil or being rich is wrong, that thinking gets deeply seated in the subconscious mind. Then the person unknowingly makes decisions that keep money away. All this happens without any deliberate effort. It is also told in this chapter that the subconscious mind always works in one state or the other, scarcity or abundance. If there is a feeling of scarcity inside, such circumstances are created outside. If there is a feeling of abundance inside, opportunities start appearing outside. This is not magic, but the direct effect of thinking on decisions and actions. Often the misconception is that just repeating positive sentences will bring money. This chapter makes it clear that words alone are not enough. Until that thing is truly felt from within, the subconscious does not accept it. Therefore, when a new thought is introduced, it might feel strange at first, but gradually with repetition and calmness, that thought starts settling inside. It is also explained in this chapter that jealousy, anger, or distress at others' success are also signs of subconscious blocks. When seeing someone's progress creates jealousy inside, the subconscious takes the message that wealth is limited, and when it is accepted that wealth is limited, doors also close for oneself. The effect in real life is clearly visible. Such a person cannot recognize opportunities, cannot make right decisions at the right time, or does not consider themselves worthy. Whereas on the other hand, whoever has accepted from within that wealth is a natural part of life, thinks with a more open mind, takes risks wisely, and has the courage to grab opportunities. It is also told in this chapter that the subconscious mind works deeply on emotions. Emotions like fear, guilt, and shame are the biggest obstacles in the path of wealth. If someone feels that earning more is wrong or they are not worthy of it, the subconscious mind tries to prove that thought true. Another important point is that the subconscious mind always learns from repetition. Small daily things like "I cannot afford it," "money doesn't stay," "not for people like us" gradually get seated inside. These things affect even if said in jest because the subconscious mind does not differentiate between joke and truth. The real-life application of this chapter is that changing thinking about wealth is the first step. This does not mean that a person starts dreaming in air, but that it is accepted from within that earning and managing sufficient money is possible. When this thought starts settling inside, the person's planning, effort, and patience all start changing. It is also explained that the subconscious mind, when it is given clear direction, starts finding paths, sometimes in the form of ideas, sometimes by introducing the right people, or sometimes by showing the right opportunity at the right time. But all this happens when the inner fear and negative belief decrease.
Finally, this chapter ends with a quiet understanding that results are not something that come from outside, they are an expansion of the inner state. When a person understands that their thinking, emotion, and belief are the real foundation, then they can understand their experiences in a clearer way. Change does not come from any pressure, but from inner clarity, and that clarity creates the direction for the right results.
Now let us discuss Chapter 10, Your Right to be Rich. This chapter explains that richness is not a mistake or greed, but it is the natural right of humans. It is told here that money and comforts are not against life, but with the right thinking, they become means to live life in a better way. This chapter starts with the fact that many people mentally accept that being rich is wrong, or that there is a conflict between spiritual life and money. The author explains that this thinking is wrong. If life has given humans needs and desires, then it has also given the means to fulfill them. Money is one of those means. Richness does not mean just accumulating, but fulfilling one's own needs comfortably and also becoming useful for others. An important point is said here that poverty is not virtue. Many people accept that living with less is greatness. But the truth is that scarcity and tension make a person's thinking small. When the mind is always tangled in bills, expenses, and fear, creative thinking and peace disappear. This chapter explains that financial security gives humans freedom so that they can use their talent and capability properly. The author also tells that money does not come on its own, but comes through the path of thinking. If the belief is seated internally that money is bad or money is not made for me, that same thinking goes into the subconscious mind and starts working. Then opportunities, even when coming, do not appear visible. The main focus of this chapter is to first look at one's inner beliefs. Another important idea is that richness does not mean taking away from someone else. Many people think that if someone is becoming rich, someone else is losing. The author clarifies that there is no scarcity of resources in life. With right thinking, right effort, and working in the right direction, there is enough for everyone. This understanding removes jealousy and fear from the person's mind. It is also told in this chapter that wanting money alone does nothing. There should be this emotion from within that money is a natural and right thing. When a person considers themselves worthy, only then do they accept better opportunities. Many people do work but do not consider themselves worthy of getting more. This limiting thinking is what stops progress. A common misconception is also told that richness comes suddenly or by luck. The author explains that luck is also often the result of thinking. The person who keeps a clear picture of prosperity in their mind also makes decisions accordingly. Gradually, those same decisions start giving right results. In real life, this means that a person should stop undervaluing their work, skill, and thinking. Understand the value of the work being done. Getting the right return for right effort is not wrong. If a person does not understand their own value, the world will not understand either. This chapter also teaches that the purpose of richness should not be limited to oneself only. When a person has enough, they can help others, make better decisions, and contribute positively to society. From this perspective, richness is also a responsibility. Finally, this chapter quietly explains that becoming rich is not an extra demand. It is part of the natural flow of life. With right thinking, right belief, and right action, a person can build a better life for themselves. When the inner thinking becomes clear, external circumstances also gradually start changing. This is the real message of this chapter. Chapter 11. Now let us discuss Chapter 11, Your Subconscious Mind as a Partner in Success. This chapter attempts to understand that the subconscious mind is not just an internal system but works like a silent partner in the journey of success. It is made clear here how daily thinking, habits, and inner dialogue gradually create the results of life. This chapter starts with the fact that success is not just the result of hard work or external planning. Often people accept that what is visible is the real work. But actually, what work is going on inside is what determines the external direction. The subconscious mind remains active all the time. It keeps watching what the conscious mind is accepting, what it is repeating, and what it is living as true.
It is explained in this chapter that the subconscious mind does not run on the logic. It does not ask whether the thought is right or wrong. It only sees what is being accepted repeatedly. If a person repeatedly accepts in their mind that they cannot move forward, the subconscious creates paths according to that belief. Whereas if the feeling settles inside that the path will be found, the subconscious starts working in that direction. Here, success is not seen as any big event, but it is considered a process. This process starts when a person stops fighting with their subconscious mind and makes it a partner, meaning eliminating the gap between wanting something from outside and believing something from inside. When both are in the same direction, only then do results come stably and for the long term. This chapter also tells that many people work very hard but still face the same obstacles repeatedly. The reason often is not outside but hidden inside. Somewhere inside there is this belief that success is difficult or it is only for some people. The subconscious mind keeps repeating the same situation, accepting that belief to be true. A necessary point here is that the subconscious mind takes instructions more from feeling than from words. Whatever thing feels true in the heart becomes a command for it. If a person says positive things from outside but fear and doubt are running inside, the subconscious takes fear more seriously. Therefore, this chapter talks not just about changing thinking but about understanding internal feelings. A common misconception is that the subconscious mind is some magical machine where once something is put in and results come instantly. This chapter clears this illusion. The subconscious mind works gradually. It changes through habits, repetition, and thinking constantly in the same direction. Patience is needed. It is also explained that many problems coming in the path of success are actually not external. They are the result of inner conditioning. Beliefs formed from childhood, society, and past experiences keep accumulating in the subconscious. Until they are changed, the person keeps living the same pattern again and again. This chapter also tells that the subconscious mind is always busy finding solutions, but it works only when the conscious mind gives it clear direction. If the mind is in confusion all the time, the subconscious also does not get clear signals. Therefore, clarity is considered very necessary. In real life, this means that a person should see what they are accepting about themselves daily. What is the inner language about their work, their capability, and their future? That same language gradually becomes their reality. The subconscious mind works in that language. Another necessary point is that the subconscious mind does not go against nature. It helps in the direction that the person has chosen themselves. If negative expectations are constantly running inside, the same appears outside. If there is a feeling of balance and trust inside, opportunities and paths start opening. This chapter also explains that success is not just the name of money or position. Success means the harmony between inside and outside. When a person is calm from inside and external actions come from that same calmness, life becomes more stable and clear. Finally, this chapter ends with a quiet thing. The subconscious mind is not an enemy that is stopping. It is doing what it has been taught. As soon as a person understands what is running inside and gradually gives it the right direction, the subconscious mind becomes a trustworthy partner in the journey of success.
Now, let us discuss Chapter 12. Scientists use the subconscious mind. This chapter attempts to understand how scientists, inventors, and people connected to research use their subconscious mind and what big role this mind plays in their work. This chapter focuses on the fact that behind science and logic, there is also a level where answers come not from direct thinking but from inside. Many times, scientists work very hard on a problem, see all the facts, understand all the data, but the solution does not come. Then suddenly, when the mind relaxes, in sleep or at rest, that same solution appears on its own. This chapter explains that actually that answer comes from the subconscious mind. It is told here that the subconscious mind always works. The conscious mind is active when a person is thinking, analyzing, or making a decision. But the subconscious mind keeps working even when the person is sleeping, strolling, or busy with something else. Scientists often first understand the entire problem well, then leave it for some time. This leaving is actually handing over the work to the subconscious. It is also explained in this chapter why many scientific discoveries happen suddenly. This happens not because the scientists suddenly thought something new, but because the subconscious mind had internally combined the already existing information and created a new pattern. When that pattern is ready, it emerges in the conscious mind as an idea. A very important thing is cleared here. The subconscious mind does not work on logic but on acceptance. If any scientist accepts from within that a solution to this problem can be found, the subconscious starts working in that direction. But if it is accepted from within that this is impossible, the subconscious also stops there. This chapter also clears the misconception that the subconscious mind works only for emotional or spiritual people. It is clearly said here that people connected to science also unknowingly use this mind. The only difference is that they know it by other names, such as intuition, insight, or inner understanding. It is also told that many times scientists deliberately relax themselves so that there is no pressure on the mind. When too much pressure is put on the mind, the conscious mind comes in between and creates obstacles in the work of the subconscious. Therefore, relaxation, sleep, and calming the mind also become part of scientific work. The chapter also explains that the subconscious mind has the ability to combine past experience, knowledge, and learned things together. Whatever scientists read, learn, or observe, all that gets stored in the subconscious. Later, that stored information appears as new ideas. A common misunderstanding is that new ideas come without any hard work. This chapter makes it clear that hard work is necessary first. Without study, without research, and without thinking, the subconscious has nothing to work with. The subconscious only advances whatever the conscious mind has first given to it. The use in real life is not limited to scientists only. Whenever any person cannot find a solution to a problem, instead of forcefully keep thinking, they should give the mind a little relief. When a person accepts from within that the answer will come, the subconscious starts working in that direction. This chapter also teaches that the subconscious mind needs trust. Doubt and fear confuse the subconscious. Scientists often do not completely reject any idea but keep it open. This openness lets the subconscious work freely. Finally, this chapter ends with a quiet understanding that the subconscious mind is not magic but a natural part of the mind. Scientists use it because they have learned when to think and when to leave thinking. When conscious and subconscious work in balance, only then clarity, innovation, and correct solutions appear. Now, let us discuss Chapter 13, Your Subconscious Mind and the Miracle of Sleep. This chapter attempts to understand how the subconscious mind works during sleep, how it heals the body, calms the mind, and how thoughts made before sleeping in the right way can affect the entire life. This chapter focuses on the fact that sleep is not just time to rest, but it is the time when the subconscious mind is most active. During the day, when the conscious mind is busy thinking, comparing, and making decisions, the subconscious mind keeps working in the background. But as soon as sleep comes, the conscious mind gradually quiets down and the subconscious mind takes full responsibility. This is why sleep is considered very special in this chapter. It is made clear here that the subconscious mind never sleeps. The body is sleeping, but the subconscious mind keeps working continuously. Heartbeat, breathing, blood flow, digestion, skin repair, all this continues on its own without any thought. The subconscious mind is behind all these works. This is why it is said that during sleep the body repairs itself. An important idea of this chapter is that thoughts before sleep are very powerful. Throughout the day, various thoughts come to the mind, but when a person lies down to sleep, the last thought in the mind goes directly to the subconscious mind. This is because at that time, the conscious mind is weak and the subconscious mind accepts suggestions without reasoning. It is also explained that if a person sleeps with worry, fear, anger, or tension, the subconscious mind keeps working on that mental state. This affects the quality of sleep and also the next day's mood and decisions. On the contrary, if the mind is calm, thoughts are positive, and there is a balance inside, the subconscious mind works in that direction. This chapter also tells that many times scientists, writers, and creative people find their best ideas during sleep or on awakening. The reason is that the subconscious mind keeps working on the problem without interruption. When the conscious mind does not interfere, the solution emerges clearly. A common misunderstanding is that new ideas come without any hard work. This chapter makes it clear that hard work is necessary first. Without study, without research, and without thinking, the subconscious has nothing to work with. The subconscious only advances whatever the conscious mind has first given to it. The use in real life is not limited to scientists only. Whenever any person cannot find a solution to a problem, instead of forcefully keep thinking, they should give the mind a little relief. When a person accepts from within that the answer will come, the subconscious starts working in that direction. This chapter also teaches that the subconscious mind needs trust. Doubt and fear confuse the subconscious. Scientists often do not completely reject any idea but keep it open. This openness lets the subconscious work freely. Finally, this chapter ends with a quiet understanding that the subconscious mind is not magic but a natural part of the mind. Scientists use it because they have learned when to think and when to leave thinking. When conscious and subconscious work in balance, only then clarity, innovation, and correct solutions appear.
Now let us discuss Chapter 14, Your Subconscious Mind and Marital Problems. This chapter attempts to understand that the tension, misunderstandings, and distance that arise in married relationships are not caused by external circumstances alone, but the subconscious mind plays a big role. It is made clear here how old thinking patterns running between husband and wife can spoil a relationship, and taking it in the right direction can improve it. This chapter is primarily about the fact that marriage is not just two people living together, but two different subconscious minds coming together. Every person comes into the relationship with their childhood, past experiences, beliefs, and habits. Many times, a person thinks the problem is because of the other person, but actually, beliefs and expectations seeded inside are affecting the relationship. The subconscious mind works by accepting what has been believed true for a long time, whether right or wrong. It is told in this chapter that marital problems often start when a person repeatedly repeats negative thinking about their partner, such as accepting that the other person never understands or mistakes are always theirs. When such thinking is repeated day after day, the subconscious mind accepts it as true. Then that same thinking starts appearing in behavior, irritability, anger, or distance starts building at every little thing. Gradually, the relationship starts feeling like a burden. It is also explained here that the subconscious mind does not reason. It does not see whether the thinking is right or wrong. It only adopts whatever is repeatedly felt. If it has settled in a person's mind that unhappiness is found in marriage, they unknowingly create circumstances that strengthen that same thinking. In such cases, small things take the form of big fights. An important point of this chapter is that love and peace in marriage are not things to be demanded from outside. It first starts from the inner mind. If there is resentment, fear, or doubt inside, the external behavior will also be the same. The subconscious mind shows whatever is filled inside. Therefore, it is told that to improve relationships, it is necessary to first work on inner thinking. Many people harbor the misconception that their partner will never change. This thinking also gets deeply seated in the subconscious mind. Then the person themselves gives up hope for change. It is told in this chapter that when hope itself ends, the relationship starts cooling down on its own, whereas if the trust is built inside that improvement is possible, patience and understanding start coming in behavior. It is also explained here that marital problems run not just from words but from emotions. Many times everything seems fine from outside, but complaints keep accumulating inside. The subconscious mind manages those suppressed emotions and releases them as anger or sarcasm at the right opportunity. Therefore, it is told that it is necessary to keep thinking clear and balanced instead of suppressing things inside.
It is also told in this chapter that the subconscious mind can be given a new direction. If negative thinking about the relationship has been there for a long time, it can be changed gradually. For this, it is necessary to deliberately think positive things about the partner, even if it does not feel natural at first. When such thinking is repeated, the subconscious mind starts accepting it. It is also clarified that this is not pretending or deceiving oneself. It means teaching the mind a new habit. If a person has always thought that their partner is cold and careless, they should start paying attention to those moments when the other person has shown understanding or care. These small things create new patterns in the subconscious mind. In real life, this means that marital problems cannot be solved just through arguments or advice. As long as inner thinking remains the same result will keep coming again and again. Give the subconscious mind a new image that marriage is a relationship of peace, cooperation, and understanding, not of fighting and control. When this image becomes strong inside, behavior starts changing on its own. It is also told in this chapter that forgiveness and letting go are very important for the subconscious mind. If old quarrels keep accumulating in the mind, they make every new quarrel bigger. The subconscious mind remembers old pain and brings it forward on every opportunity. Therefore, it is told that to move the relationship forward, it is necessary to lighten the old burden from within. Finally, this chapter ends with a quiet understanding that marriage is not a perfect system. It is the process of growth of two people. The subconscious mind can either become an obstacle or be helpful in this. When a person understands their inner thinking and gradually gives it a positive direction, the same relationship that once felt heavy starts feeling smooth and balanced. This is the main message of the chapter. Before changing marriage, it is necessary to understand and manage one's own subconscious mind. Chapter 15. Now let us discuss Chapter 15, Your Subconscious Mind and Your Happiness. This chapter attempts to understand how happiness is actually connected not to external circumstances but to inner thinking and feelings. It is made clear here that a person's happiness is not something that comes suddenly, but it is the result of an internal mental process that keeps forming and strengthening in the subconscious mind. The main focus of this chapter is that most people associate happiness with external things. Money increases, success comes, relationships get fixed, then they will be happy. Such thinking is very common. But this chapter explains that if inner thinking and emotions are tangled, negative, or filled with fear, then no external success can give lasting happiness. The subconscious mind expresses the feelings that are repeatedly poured into it. If constant worry, complaint, and dissatisfaction keep running inside, happiness automatically moves away. It is told here that happiness is not a reward that comes after reaching some level of life. Happiness is a mental state that depends on what a person believes about themselves, about their life, and about their future. The subconscious mind accepts these beliefs as true and creates feelings and experiences accordingly. If it is accepted inside that life is a burden, struggle is all there is, then that feeling starts appearing in daily experiences. The chapter also explains that many people cannot understand that the real cause of sorrow and trouble is not outside but inside. People say that so-and-so person is the reason for sorrow or circumstances are bad, so there is no happiness. But actually, the subconscious mind strengthens the internal reaction being given to those circumstances. Two people can be happy or sad differently in the same situation because their inner thinking is different. An important thing emphasized here is that the subconscious mind is naturally supportive of life. Its inclination is towards happiness, peace, and balance. But when a person keeps repeating feelings like fear, guilt, anger, or jealousy, those get seated in the subconscious and suppress inner happiness. Therefore, to get happiness, changing internal thinking is more important than changing the outside world. It is also told in this chapter that many people take happiness too seriously and heavily. They feel that there should be some big reason to be happy, but the subconscious mind works on simple and natural feelings. The feeling of contentment, peace, and acceptance gradually creates happiness inside. When a person feels balance in small things too, the subconscious mind starts repeating that state again and again. A common misconception is that happiness means looking excited or very happy all the time. This chapter clarifies that real happiness is not noisy. It is a calm and stable feeling in which the mind does not stay too troubled. When the subconscious mind experiences feelings of peace and trust repeatedly, that becomes the normal internal state. It is also explained that humans often spoil their own happiness by repeatedly remembering past mistakes, regrets, and sorrows. The subconscious mind does not see time. For it, old and new things are the same. When old painful feelings are remembered repeatedly, the subconscious mind brings them alive again. This makes the same heaviness felt in the present too, even though there is no big trouble at that moment. The effect in real life is clearly visible. People who keep complaining all the time are not given happiness even by small good things, whereas some people feel balance and contentment even with limited resources. The difference is only in what kind of thinking is being repeatedly poured into the subconscious mind. Choosing happiness is a kind of mental training that gradually sets in the subconscious mind. This chapter also tells that happiness has a direct relation with self-acceptance. When a person accepts themselves as they are, with both their shortcomings and strengths, the internal tension starts decreasing. The subconscious mind takes this acceptance as safety, and the mind starts feeling lighter. The person who constantly fights with themselves cannot stay stable from inside. Another important point is that happiness does not come from taking from someone else or by comparing. When a person compares themselves to others, a feeling of lack and deficiency gets seated in the subconscious mind. No matter how much comes from outside, satisfaction does not come. But when attention stays on one's own growth and balance, happiness starts staying inside. At the end of the chapter, it becomes clear that happiness is not a distant destination but an inner habit. This habit gradually forms in the subconscious mind when a person starts paying a little attention to their thinking, feelings, and reactions. Whatever the outside world is like, if internal balance remains, happiness starts feeling natural. In this way, this chapter quietly explains that instead of looking for happiness, if attention is given to creating it inside, the subconscious mind starts working in that direction. Gradually, the mind lightens, thinking becomes clear, and life starts feeling easier.
Now let us discuss Chapter 16, Your Subconscious Mind and Harmonious Human Relations. This chapter attempts to understand how good and balanced relationships form between people and what role the subconscious mind plays in this. The focus is on how our inner thinking, emotions, and beliefs shape our behavior and relationships. This chapter primarily tells that whatever experience a person has in their relationships comes mostly not from the outside world, but from the inner world. The beliefs seated in the subconscious mind are what appear outside as dialogue, reaction, and behavior with others. If there is peace, trust, and respect inside, those same things are seen in relationships. And if fear, doubt, or anger is accumulated inside, that same tension and conflict comes forward. An important idea here is that the subconscious mind silently controls our perspective towards others. Often it happens that a person feels distance from another person or gets irritated without any clear reason. Actually, this reaction is connected to some past experience, memory, or belief that is already present in the subconscious mind. The person thinks the problem is in the other person, while the root is hidden inside. It is also explained in this chapter that the subconscious mind does not debate. Whatever is brought into thinking repeatedly is accepted as true. If the belief is formed in the mind about someone that they are not trustworthy, the subconscious mind makes behavior happen according to that. Tone of voice, body language, and choice of words all start going in that direction. The result is that the relationship starts spoiling on its own. A common misconception is that good relationships are formed only by the other person changing. This chapter makes clear that change in relationships always starts from inside. As soon as inner thinking changes, external reaction also starts changing. When feelings of respect, understanding, and peace for others get seated in the subconscious mind, that same feeling starts showing in behavior without effort. It is also told that humans often impose past experiences on present relationships. Because of some old betrayal or bitter experience, the belief gets formed that people are not worthy of trust. The subconscious mind, accepting this belief as true, creates the same caution and doubt in every new relationship. This makes relationships weak before they can deepen. It is explained in this chapter what message is being given to the subconscious mind. It matters a lot. If it is mentally accepted that it is possible to coordinate with people and relationships can be easy, the subconscious mind starts working in that direction. Gradually, the person's behavior becomes soft, understanding, and balanced. Another important thing is that the ability to forgive and accept is also connected to the subconscious mind. When complaints and resentment keep accumulating in the mind, they affect relationships like poison by getting seated in the subconscious mind. But as soon as the feeling starts coming inside that maintaining peace is more important, that same thinking brings lightness and ease in relationships. This chapter also makes it clear that as a person starts seeing others, they experience the same way. If there is thinking inside that people are helpful and cooperative, such experiences come forward. And if there is the belief inside that people are selfish or cause harm, the subconscious mind selects and brings forward experiences of the same kind. In real life, this means that the tension seen in relationships with office, family, or friends is not just the result of external circumstances. In most cases, it is the effect of inner thinking and old patterns. When a person becomes alert about their thinking and lets better beliefs settle in the subconscious mind, relationships start improving without any effort. This chapter also explains that thinking good about others does not mean blindly accepting everything. It means keeping balanced and clear thinking by removing negative beliefs from inside. When this balance comes in the subconscious mind, a person can set boundaries at the right place and also maintain respect in relationships. Finally, this chapter brings forward a quiet understanding that harmonious human relations are not external techniques, but are a reflection of inner state. As peace, trust, and positive thinking strengthen in the subconscious mind, ease and balance start coming on their own in relationships. This is the main message of the chapter. To change the quality of relationships, it is first necessary to understand and improve the inner world. Chapter 17. Now, let us discuss Chapter 17, How to Use Your Subconscious Mind for Forgiveness. This chapter explains what forgiveness actually is, how it works inside the mind, and how using the subconscious mind in the right direction can remove old resentment and mental burden. This chapter focuses on the fact that when a person has anger, complaint, or revenge feeling in their heart, its effect is not only on relationships, but on the entire mind and body. Many times people think that forgiving is weakness or that it means justifying the other's mistake. But it is explained here that forgiveness is not for anyone else, but for their own mental peace. As long as old things, hurt, and resentment keep accumulating inside, the subconscious mind also keeps working on that same negative pattern. One main point of this chapter is that the subconscious mind does not understand reasoning or debate. If the mind repeatedly repeats some old pain, betrayal, or insult, the subconscious mind accepts it as true. Then those same emotions start appearing in daily thinking, decisions, and reactions. The result is that a person stays irritable, restless, or feels heaviness inside without wanting to. It is also explained here that in the state of not being able to forgive, a person is actually punishing themselves. The other person moves on in their life, but the old film running inside the mind does not let oneself move forward. The subconscious mind keeps repeating those old images and emotions, which creates mental tension and sometimes physical trouble as well. The chapter makes it clear that forgiveness does not mean that what happened was right or that it should be forgotten. It only means that that incident or person should not be allowed to control the mind. When a person accepts from the heart that they are not going to carry that burden further, a new message is received by the subconscious mind. That same new message gradually starts lightening the mind. A common misconception is that forgiveness happens just by thinking about it once. But it is told here that forgiveness is a process. It requires bringing the mind to the right direction again and again. Whenever old memories or anger come up, bringing that feeling in the mind in a calm way that peace is being chosen. The subconscious mind gradually adopts the message given with repetition and emotion. It is also explained in this chapter that many times a person can't even forgive themselves. Old mistakes, decisions, or regrets keep circulating in the mind. The subconscious mind keeps increasing guilt by repeating them. Until a person brings compassion for themselves, inner peace cannot form. Forgiving oneself is as important as forgiving others. The effect in real life is clearly visible. Relationships of those who hold on to old quarrels and resentment keep increasing distance. In work environment also, anger and doubt affect decisions. Whereas those who learn to let go gradually, a different kind of lightness and clarity start coming inside. When the subconscious mind is calm, thinking also becomes more clear and balanced. This chapter also tells that when the feeling of forgiveness comes in the mind, the body also responds to it. Tension starts decreasing, sleep improves, and a kind of easy peace is felt inside. All this happens not like magic, but as a result of the mind and subconscious mind working naturally. Finally, this chapter explains that forgiveness is not something that comes from outside. It is an internal decision. When a person decides in their mind to leave the old burden, the subconscious mind starts working in that direction. Old wounds gradually loosen up and the mind starts feeling lighter. This is the real message of the chapter. Peace does not come from outside, but starts from within, and forgiveness is the first step to that peace.
Now let us discuss Chapter 18, How Your Subconscious Removes Mental Blocks. This chapter attempts to understand how the obstacles that form in the mind, which stop from inside, are gradually removed by the subconscious mind and how this process actually works. This chapter focuses on the fact that mental blocks do not come from outside. Most blocks are created by the person themselves in their own mind. These blocks form due to fear, wrong thinking, past experiences, repeatedly negative thoughts, and self-doubt. When a person keeps telling themselves that this cannot be done by me, I cannot do this, or circumstances are against me, these things gradually get seated in the subconscious mind. Then the same subconscious mind starts giving results by accepting those things as true. A necessary thing explained here is that the subconscious mind does not reason. It does not know which thing is right and which is wrong. Whatever the conscious mind repeatedly accepts, the subconscious mind accepts as order. If the conscious mind says the path is closed, the subconscious mind also accepts the path has closed. If the conscious mind says there is no solution, the subconscious mind also stops finding solutions. This is where mental blocks are formed. It is also told in this chapter that the biggest cause of mental blocks is fear. Fear is actually an internal mental process. Often people think that fear happens because of some event, some person, or some situation. But this chapter makes it clear that the real cause of fear is not outside but inside. Fear forms when some negative thought, image, or experience is repeatedly thought in the mind and it gets seated in the subconscious mind. Once the subconscious mind accepts it as true, that same fear starts appearing in body, behavior, and decisions. This chapter also explains that fear is often connected to the future. Most fear is about what will happen next, but the future has not even come yet. Despite this, the mind keeps repeating the same negative scene. The subconscious mind takes these imaginations as real experiences. The body starts reacting the same way as if danger is present right now. This is why, without any real reason, panic, tension, and restlessness is felt. A common misconception is that people think mental blocks are very strong and removing them is difficult. This chapter makes it clear that mental blocks are actually not permanent. They are formed from habit, and habits can be changed. Just as negative thinking creates blocks by repeating right thinking gradually loosens those blocks and eventually they disappear. It is also explained here that the subconscious mind always wants the good of humans. Its nature is towards life, not towards harm, but it does what it is told. If the conscious mind keeps focusing on the problem, the subconscious mind also strengthens the problem. But if the conscious mind starts focusing on solution, peace, and right direction, the subconscious mind starts working in that direction. The chapter also tells that many mental blocks come from childhood or past experiences. Someone said something once, some failure created fear, or someone broke trust. That thing might have seemed small at the time, but it got deeply seated in the subconscious mind. Later, that same thing comes forward on every new opportunity and stops the person without understanding that the obstacle is not outside but inside. It is also made clear in this chapter that there is no need to force to remove mental blocks. When a person makes too much effort, they go into tension, and in tension, the subconscious mind does not work openly. Instead, staying calm, relaxing the mind, and gradually reaching right thoughts to the subconscious mind is more effective. Another important thing is that people often say, "I am trying, but nothing is changing." In this chapter, it is told that the subconscious mind does not show results instantly. It works in its own time. Until inner thinking changes completely, external results also do not become stable. Therefore, it is necessary to have patience. It is also explained that mental blocks start removing when a person stops blaming themselves. Considering oneself weak, considering oneself wrong, all this makes the block stronger. When a person accepts that the subconscious mind is with them, not against them, only then change starts. In real life, this means that when a person repeatedly thinks that moving forward is difficult for them, that same difficulty starts appearing in their daily life. But when that same person gradually builds the feeling inside that the path will open, solutions will be found, and things are going in the right direction, the subconscious mind starts bringing opportunities, ideas, and decisions forward accordingly. The essence of this chapter is that mental blocks are not walls but habits, and every habit can be changed. If the subconscious mind is given thinking filled with fear and limitations, it returns the same. But if it is given thinking of trust, peace, and right direction, that same thinking gradually starts removing old obstacles. Finally, this thing is quietly explained that when a person reduces the noise inside their mind, learns to trust themselves, and gives correct signals to the subconscious mind, mental blocks start weakening on their own. No forcing, no struggle, just changing the direction of thinking gradually clears internal obstacles. Now let us discuss Chapter 19, How to Use Your Subconscious Mind to Remove Fear. In this we will understand how fear actually originates, how it settles in the mind, and how it can be gradually removed with the help of the subconscious mind. This chapter focuses on the fact that fear is not an external thing, but an internal mental process. Often people think that fear happens because of some event, some person, or some situation, but this chapter makes it clear that the real cause of fear is not outside but inside. Fear forms when some negative thought, image, or experience is repeatedly thought in the mind and it gets seated in the subconscious mind. Once the subconscious mind accepts it as true, that same fear starts appearing in body, behavior, and decisions. This chapter also explains that fear is often connected to the future. Most fear is about what will happen next, but the future has not even come yet. Despite this, the mind keeps repeating the same negative scene. The subconscious mind takes these imaginations as real experiences. The body starts reacting the same way as if danger is present right now. This is why, without any real reason, panic, tension, and restlessness is felt. A common misconception is that people think mental blocks are very strong and removing them is difficult. This chapter makes it clear that mental blocks are actually not permanent. They are formed from habit, and habits can be changed. Just as negative thinking creates blocks by repeating right thinking gradually loosens those blocks and eventually they disappear. It is also explained here that the subconscious mind always wants the good of humans. Its nature is towards life, not towards harm, but it does what it is told. If the conscious mind keeps focusing on the problem, the subconscious mind also strengthens the problem. But if the conscious mind starts focusing on solution, peace, and right direction, the subconscious mind starts working in that direction. The chapter also tells that many mental blocks come from childhood or past experiences. Someone said something once, some failure created fear, or someone broke trust. That thing might have seemed small at the time, but it got deeply seated in the subconscious mind. Later, that same thing comes forward on every new opportunity and stops the person without understanding that the obstacle is not outside but inside. It is also made clear in this chapter that there is no need to force to remove mental blocks. When a person makes too much effort, they go into tension, and in tension, the subconscious mind does not work openly. Instead, staying calm, relaxing the mind, and gradually reaching right thoughts to the subconscious mind is more effective. Another important thing is that people often say, "I am trying, but nothing is changing." In this chapter, it is told that the subconscious mind does not show results instantly. It works in its own time. Until inner thinking changes completely, external results also do not become stable. Therefore, it is necessary to have patience. It is also explained that mental blocks start removing when a person stops blaming themselves. Considering oneself weak, considering oneself wrong, all this makes the block stronger. When a person accepts that the subconscious mind is with them, not against them, only then change starts. In real life, this means that when a person repeatedly thinks that moving forward is difficult for them, that same difficulty starts appearing in their daily life. But when that same person gradually builds the feeling inside that the path will open, solutions will be found, and things are going in the right direction, the subconscious mind starts bringing opportunities, ideas, and decisions forward accordingly. The essence of this chapter is that mental blocks are not walls but habits, and every habit can be changed. If the subconscious mind is given thinking filled with fear and limitations, it returns the same. But if it is given thinking of trust, peace, and right direction, that same thinking gradually starts removing old obstacles. Finally, this thing is quietly explained that when a person reduces the noise inside their mind, learns to trust themselves, and gives correct signals to the subconscious mind, mental blocks start weakening on their own. No forcing, no struggle, just changing the direction of thinking gradually clears internal obstacles.
Now let us discuss Chapter 20, How to Stay Young in Spirit Forever. This chapter attempts to understand how a person can remain young from inside despite growing older, how freshness in thinking can remain, and how enthusiasm for life can be maintained for a long time. This chapter focuses on the fact that staying young is not just related to the condition of the body. Real youthfulness is connected to the state of mind. Time affects the body, but the same effect happens on the mind that the person themselves accepts. If the belief settles in the mind that age has come, learning is difficult now, enthusiasm is gone, then that same thought gradually becomes the truth of life. But if curiosity, openness, and desire to learn remain in the mind, the internal energy stays active on its own. This chapter makes it clear that the subconscious mind accepts the concept of age the way it is told. If it is repeatedly thought that memory is weakening now, the body does not cooperate anymore, new things are not understood, the subconscious mind accepts these things as true and starts working in that direction. On the contrary, if the thinking is that the mind is still active, the ability to learn remains, and something new can be understood every day, then internal powers respond accordingly. An important thing explained here is that staying young does not mean showing unnecessary enthusiasm or denying age. It means maintaining a positive outlook towards life. Many people limit themselves as they grow older. They accept that the time to start something new has passed. This very belief gradually tires the mind, whereas the truth is that the mind stays young as long as it feels alive. It is also told in this chapter that people whose mind is always entangled in some fear, regret, or past time become old from inside quickly. Continuously thinking that everything was better before, nothing is left now, makes the mind heavy. On the contrary, those who see every day as a new possibility, their mind remains light and fresh with time. A common misconception is that tiredness and sadness coming with age is natural. But here it is clarified that it is not natural but a learned habit. Society, surrounding people, and past experiences together create the belief that old age means weakness. The subconscious mind accepts these beliefs without question. Then those same beliefs start affecting behavior and body. This chapter also explains that the mind keeps being influenced by suggestions continuously. If a person keeps reminding themselves that they are useful, can learn, and their role in life has not ended yet, the mind adjusts itself in that direction. Such people are capable of taking new responsibilities at any stage of age. In actual life, this means that paying attention to daily thinking is very important. When a person says about themselves that I cannot do it anymore, my age has come, they unknowingly limit their own mind. Instead, if the thinking is that experience has increased, understanding has deepened, and more balanced decisions can be made now, the mind feels strong. It is also told in this chapter that a big sign of a young spirit is interest. People who keep interest in something or the other never tire from inside. Whether it is reading, learning, talking to someone, or thinking about new ideas, all these keep the mind active. When interest ends, the mind gradually starts becoming dull. Another misunderstanding is that staying young is only connected to being happy, while the real thing is that staying young is connected to being aware. Understanding one's own thinking, one's own words, and the dialogue running inside and giving it the right direction is the real practice. The subconscious mind holds the direction that is repeatedly shown. This chapter also tells that to keep the mind young, it is necessary to stop sticking to the past. Learning from past experiences is fine, but being entangled in them makes the mind heavy. When a person sees every day as a fresh start, internal energy starts flowing on its own. In actual life, this can be used in very simple ways, such as paying attention to one's language, changing sentences spoken about oneself, and not judging oneself only by the number of age. When the mind accepts that life is still going on, something new is still possible, that same feeling starts showing in body and behavior. The conclusion of this chapter is very quiet and practical. Staying young is not an external achievement, but an internal state. When the mind stays open, thinking stays flexible, and respect for life remains, age remains just a number. The subconscious mind moves forward the same energy that is repeatedly felt. With this understanding, a person can stay young, balanced, and aware from inside for a long time.